Oh God, that smells good. It's unbelievable, really, because in an age where, having worked in the media and the watch world for a few years now, everyone's always talking about a few things: travel clocks, print, digital ads. Is the print dead? Is the print copy? Is the book dead? And I don't know the answer, but it's just really lovely to hold something in the hand, and especially when it comes to a passion subject like watches, because there's nothing nicer than flicking through something of a scale like that and trying to understand whether that's something you would buy, something you would wear, something that would connect with your personality. And of course, guys, this is the Watch Annual 2020. And I thought, given that we have all these books here today and we're about to launch officially 2022's edition and a special partner that I'll come to later, I thought it was important and might be useful just to look back on where we've gone, where we've come from, where we are now, and maybe where we're going as well. 2020 copy was quite an interesting period of time. So it was 2019. James Allen and I, who were working on the project, were actually making a book on the city guide for London for watch lovers. So the ultimate watch collecting, watch shopping city guide. We then realized halfway through 2019 that 2019 was not the year people were going to be traveling to London to buy watches, unfortunately. So we thought, hey, why don't we create a book that we could produce ourselves with no adverts, that wasn't funded by any brands, that we weren't constricted by anyone for or about, and it would just show all of the great watches of the year. But it would come from the community. And the key thing there is this was a community project from the outset, and it still is a community project now. And the idea was that we would select the best of the year. Not an easy task, given that a lot of the brands keep a lot to themselves. Traditionally, in years gone by, we would have launches at the same time every year. We'd see all the watches at one time, but now, of course, they launch things the whole way through the year. I mean, we've just woken up this morning to AP's news of their new Star Wheel in the code 1159, which hasn't unfortunately made it into the book this year, but that's one of the challenges and one of the things that we continue to improve on year after year with the book. But the Watch Annual was born at the end of 2019, and the premise was simple: the best watches of the year from the community, by the community, for the community. And it wouldn't have adverts in, and it would really be the images taken by all of us out there in the watch world, many of whom don't have the opportunity to have their work celebrated. And I view their work as, their photos as pieces of work and art, and they need to be celebrated. And I hope that over the last 3 years, we've been able to do that. Here's Austin in Hong Kong here from Horoloop, who I'm sure many of you know. Wonderful image here of this concept flying tourbillon, but the scale of it was important to us. It was undisrupted by adverts, and really it was meant to be, and I hope does feel when you read it, like a message from their heart, their image, their thoughts on the watch, with no other intent other than to share something they love. Now, the thing that strikes me here about this copy in 2020 was with 72 watches in it, it's a great deal thinner, leaner, kind of what I hope I might be at the moment, a little bit leaner, like just sort of pre-summer holidays vibe versus just post-Christmas vibes. You can actually see the comparison there between the two. Just for reference, this 2022 copy, which we'll come to in a moment, is almost 30% larger than last year's, 25% larger than last year. So every year we've gone on a good feed. We've been bulking, we've been lifting, we're rolling swollen, we're in a hypertrophy phase. So we're in this static phase, we're in this continuous growth phase of proportion, but also hopefully curation. This first year in 2020, we had 5 CEO letters from likes of Chris Granger here at IWC and Mr. Francois Benameas from AP, who's going to be departing soon from the business, but very touched and we were very touched and excited to share such big names from the industry in our very first copy. The other key premise of the book, as well as being no adverts from the community, by the community, from the community, for the community, was also that there would be a charitable donation every year. We had to find something that meant something to us to donate money to every year. And in this instance, in 2020, it was obvious that it had to be a COVID-related charity, which it was for the health service. we've continued that to this very day with this year, actually, in the 2022 copy for our book, it's War Child, the charity War Child. So we've continued that thread, and that's a key principle and pillar for us as we move forward. But there's the mint green from 2020. We then move on to 2021, and I can't quite remember what this was called. I think it was Coral. But in this copy, we had 99 watches. I'm not entirely sure why we didn't have 100. Something went wrong at the last minute. In fact, I know what it was. We had a watch in here, and literally the night before we went to print, we realized that it was actually a watch from 2020, not 2021, and we had to chop it. So unfortunately, that one went to the wayside. But you know, the coolest thing about this is that I get to speak to so many friends out there and interesting characters from around the watch world who all have an opportunity to have a say. And you know, apart from picking the watches, you know, we don't provide any framework for what we want. We just want an image of a watch from the year 2021 and tell us a little bit about why you love it. In this edition, we had 83 contributors, which was mind-blowing, from around the world. And we had CEO letters from the likes of Baltic and Restaurants, Benoit Mintens there, and Etienne, among others. It was a wonderful year. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's still available as well on the website. If anyone wants back copies, they are still available. Before I come to 2022, I should say that last year for 2021, we partnered for the very first time with Mr. Porter, which was amazing. I mean, Mr. Porter have taken a great deal of money from me over the years, and it was nice that I got to take a little bit of money from them. No, it was lovely to partner with them. They're such a lovely bunch of guys, and I've known them personally for years. And the book was an elevated version of our standard edition. Standard edition was $24.99 on the website, and we felt that the Mr. Porter audience were more engaged with something that, or would be more engaged with something that was slightly elevated in its production value. So we have a hard copy book that was sold in a limited number to Mr. Porter last year, which we were really proud of. Beautiful to the touch. This particular colorway unique to Mr. Porter, and you'll see again this year we've got a very similar look and feel with their branding co-branded on the front here. Gotta love a bit of co-branding, no, in the watch world, gotta love a bit of co-branding. We've got a letter inside here, which was great, from my dear friend who's the watch editor there at Mr. Porter, Chris Hall. And crucially, as well as being a hard copy, it also includes a limited edition print of the watch of the year as voted by Mr. Porter. So Mr. Porter have the opportunity to decide what they want as their watch of the year. And last year it was the Hermes H08 by the amazing Canadian artist Julie Crowless, and it was signed by her there. And we hope that those who bought this have had it framed and put up on the office wall. And this was the intent, was we wanted something collectible that people could enjoy year after year. And so, I mean, that is just spectacular. Love the design or not, what a wonderful piece of work, especially that strap is just outstanding. What a great watch. But there you go. Last year was the first year we partnered with Mr. Porter. Very, very proud of that one. And it's probably only right that we continue then to this year. And we're super excited about what's happening this year, because not only have we got the Mr. Porter edition, but we've also got the Net-a-Porter edition. The Mr. Porter edition has instead of a black edging, it has a golden edging. And the reason for that is that, to start with, you'll see there's actually a great deal more brands this year, which means they're slightly smaller, but they fit onto the page. We are very proud to present this wonderful, I think, absolutely wacky, wild, nuts interpretation of the watch of the year from Mr. Porter, which, as you can see, is the Vacheron 222, a 37mm sports watch in yellow gold that people went nuts for. I was lucky enough to be at Watches and Wonders earlier this year in March. People went nuts for it. It was incredible. I mean, what a watch. Proportionally honest to its original, and but wearable in a whole new way. Actually, it wears better than the original, and to me it looks even better than the original. The watch of the year. Now, Tim Madonna, who is the artist that we partnered with this year, amazing Brighton-based artist. He's done work for National Geographic and big brands like Nike in the past, but he's never really done a watch. In fact, I don't think he's ever done a watch. And so we were excited to take him a project and give him entire freedom to go nuts with it. And I don't know what he was taking, I don't know what he was smoking when he came up with this, but my God, the man has delivered. Every element of this gives you something. You can spend hours looking at it. As well as being in the book itself, this is his sort of Miami Beach interpretation of the 222, which we love. I love the melting gold and the flamingos personally, and the crocodiles. There is the original sketch that was the preempt for the print, which is available. The original and the print in massive size. It is just a real statement piece. It is available for purchase on the Mr. Porter website as well. So there is a link there. And I'm super proud of this one, super excited about this one, and really couldn't be more grateful to have had Tim on board for this. So that's the Mr. Porter edition. Slight adjustment this year. The only addition on the exterior is this, the best of 2022's watches. This is a book for watch lovers, by watch lovers, and always will be, and that's our statement of intent right there. So that's the Mr. Porter edition for 2022. What's really interesting is that we have now had the opportunity to partner, as of the success last year with Mr. Porter, we've now got the opportunity to partner with Net-a-Porter. Watches are increasingly and rightfully so unisex. There aren't, in my mind, any parameters for what should be for men and for women. And as a result, it's really exciting to have loads of female contributors in the book this year, wearing men's watches or larger watches, and lots of men wearing smaller watches that in the past might have been seen as more feminine, sort of smaller wrist watches. To me, there are no boundaries, and to partner with Net-a-Porter now, to speak to a female audience with the Watch Annual and to bring our communities together has just been amazing. I personally think this colorway is savage, black on black, again unique to and specific to Net-a-Porter and always will be, and that's the co-branding on the front. And there's the illustration from Tim again. And every year we'll have a new artist that we partner with, and Tim for this year has just done an incredible job. Again, the man has never produced a piece of work around a watch before. We left him to his own devices. This is the Cartier Crash Tigre Metamorphosis, and it is absolutely nuts. So we've got these tigers in the water here. He viewed it as a lily pad, the watch itself as a lily pad. And he signed it here. It's just incredible. To me, what he's done is he's taken watches and the design of a watch and elevated it to an art form, which is what I've always seen them as. And it is just outstanding. To the hands, to the lily pads, to the eyes on these guys, it just keeps on giving. So incredible. He signed each one of these in the book for those buying from the special edition from Net-a-Porter. And this original and the big print will be available on Net-a-Porter as well. There's also a charitable element when it comes to Net-a-Porter and Mr. Porter. There's a donation for the charity, the Men's Health in Mind charity at Mr. Porter. So it's a wonderful thing. We're really proud of this year, and we'd love your feedback once you get copies of that in hand. I should also say that Cartier, probably one of my favorite submissions, from the myth, the legend, Mr. Goldberger, Mr. Oro Montanari, who we all know and love, and in some ways want to be. There's the submission from the man. Now, if that's not a submission that's noteworthy, I don't know what is. There's the submission. One of my absolute favorites, the watch of the year for Net-a-Porter, and you can see why, you know, the Crash and interesting case shapes and Cartier have had a huge year this year. Small additions that are worth noting on the submission page that we've added this year. We've added the material of the watch itself, the measurements, the diameters, and also the price, and also the limited edition, in hopefully what is an easily digestible, very simple readout. We just think, you know, although watches for us aren't about the money, I think it's just interesting to add context to the page on what these things are actually selling for, at least selling for new. We didn't add the pre-owned market price. My God, it would be difficult to keep that one evergreen. But we're super excited about this copy this year. This is our standard copy. It smells fantastic, looks fantastic. It might be my favorite colorway so far. It was chosen by Kieran who joined James and I this year, one of my dear friends, and we only thought it was right that he got the opportunity to choose the colorway. And I was a bit skeptical when I first heard the purple being used, or purple, and I have been proved wrong. It's absolutely outstanding. We've got a new crown on the on the spine there, which we have every year, and as I say, it's got a large. It's been on a feed. It's almost 30% bigger than last year. It's just, to me, just a wonderful illustration of all of the very best of this year. Now, I have to confess, it was incredibly hard to edit this one. We opened up submissions last year for the book for 2021, where the community at large could share their images with us, and they did, in their hundreds, and that was difficult. This year we opened it up and people submitted in their thousands, and honestly it was a real challenge. And we sat down for countless hours, the three of us, trying to get our heads around what we would have in and what we didn't, what we wouldn't have in. Just a few of my favorite submissions, because it's worth sharing them now, because the books are going out soon and people will have them. To me, one of the watches of the year, Laurent Ferrier, this classic Blue Origin, 40 millimeters titanium case, so sporty case with a blue graded to gradient, almost a powdered dial, crosshaired. To me, a simple watch, but so elegant. The pebble, the Gallet case shape, absolutely wonderful, from a man in time, my dear friend here in London. We've got 7 letters this year, so opposed to 5 CEO letters who contributed in years gone by, we've now got 7. Here's one from Furlan Mari. We've got submissions from Bulgari this year. We've got submissions from Anne Ordain. We've got submissions from Noya Hedia, who, you know, I think encapsulates everything that we love about the idea of what the book is that we want to celebrate everybody in the industry for what they are. Price point irrelevant, size of business irrelevant. Noya is a very small manufacturer in Japan. He's the man that runs the business. His name's on the dial. He makes these watches. He assembles them. He finishes them by hand for the most part. And this is what it's all about. And yeah, we're really, really proud of this one. You know, I have to give a quick shout out to this man, because this might be one of my absolute favorite submissions of the year as well. This is Chronodo in Germany. If you don't follow the man, you absolutely should. I remember seeing him earlier this year at the Watches of Wonders show, and I said it to his face, so I'll say it now. I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing. I've never seen a jacket like it. In this instance, he was very keen to take ownership of the Omega Moonswatch, which probably for most people was the watch that sort of summed up 2022. But we've got so many characters in here. We've got so many personal thoughts. Lots of new contributors. We've got 100 watches. We've got 108 watches, and we've got 100 contributors this year, and quite incredible to think we've hit the ton there for contributors. We've even got letters from Grubel Forsey, and we've got countless Pateks. We've got Piagets. We've got, oh, my dear friend Constantine with his Porsche design from the ice race, the GP ice race earlier this year. We've got independents like Ressence, and contributors like Tony Fidel. I'm not sure it gets much better than that. So guys, this is it. We're really proud of it. It's on the website to buy now. And as always, please do share your photos of the book. And £2 of every book is going to go to the War Child charity, specifically helping children in Ukraine. And we'd love to share it. So please do tag us, share your thoughts with us, and for God's sake, get in touch and message me directly and let me know what your thoughts are. Merry Christmas.